Yeah. You might have gotten confused, but the first restraint provision is ordered above. Yes. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. And the court found on page one. Oh. That would mean that the court would have to look at page one. Yes. And the court finds, based upon the court record, that the respondent did not have reasonable notice and an opportunity to be heard. I know you want to make an exception to the actual laws of the United States, but the court cannot find on page one, ooch, that anything that the court said that had happened did not happen, ooch. And the court found on page one what? That, that the court found based upon the court record. The court record that says that I did not have notice and opportunity to be heard because there was no proof of service prior to having court hearings. Now, in your mind, it doesn't matter that it was longer than 14 days. It was 50 fucking days, you fraudulent piece of shit. Now, this is what the public defender, he had made a personal note. Yes. The court finds based upon the court record. Let's look at the court record for me being a credible threat. Yes. Exactly how do you define credible threat when I never contacted the petitioner in over 4 years? Yes. You issued the previous protection order for 2 years. But you did not attempt service until I had left the county. See, order reissuing temporary protection order 719 of 2013. Confidential, not for release. Ooch. Did somebody? Affidavit of mailing. Oh. Declaration. Yes. Return of service. Oh, undeliverable mail. What does it mean when it's undeliverable mail? The individual known as the respondent was not there. Now, if you look on page one, okay, service by mail pursuant to court order. Yes. Now, you cannot have service by mail and publication. Did you understand the fraud of what you did in 2013? See, you have to have two attempts of personal service. Yes. And then it can be pursuant to court order. You mark one of the boxes or the other box. Coach. Now, you keep making up bullshit about. Well, proof of mailing, yes. See this sheriff's return of service when you did both at the same time? That was a fraudulent execution of the temporary protection order. Where now sheriff's return of service. You remember when you called me on the telephone on 8/21 of 2013? Yes. I walked over to the sheriff's department. Do most credible threats to the safety of the population actually go to the police station in 2014? Chief of Police Brian Smith and asks the police, is there anything I need to know because I've just moved back here from Centralia on August 20th of 2014, thinking that this expired pooch, or how many of those that are credible threats, when getting a phone call from the sheriff, says, I will be right over in 5 minutes, walks across the J.C. Penney's parking lot, yes, and receives personal service from the sheriff. Now, I would think that those that are credible threats, yes, they would feel some concern about talking to police or sheriffs. I could say in a court of law, I can prove that that's a fraudulent statement. Gonna sue you for that one too. Okay. Now, when you call me on the phone, I go right over and find out what it is that you want me to know. I was in the tobacco emporium when I received the phone call. Yes, yes, yes. It's just right across the parking lot from where the sheriff's department used to be, which maybe the Squin Sheriff's Department. Now, let's say I was a credible threat, Pooch. I was one of those on the run. Yes. And in my mind, as soon as the sheriff's call, I run. Oh, I go hide. Ooh. I don't want to talk to them because I'm fearful they'll find out about how criminal I am. Pooch. I know how many of those get back to Port Angeles after being gone for 11 months thinking that it's going to expire. And you attempted service, oh, well, there's September, October, approximately 9 weeks after issuing it. And then I decide on my own recognizance. Well, why don't I stop by the police department and see if there's something that I need to know? Because I never got a copy of the protection order, which wasn't served on me in Centralia. Isn't that right, Snazza? How's the sheriff's department in Centralia? Did somebody communicate with the sheriff's department in Centralia that I was a domestic abuser, a child abuser, a mentally ill homeless man that didn't understand exactly what was going on? Was there a lying sheriff's department that has perpetrated one of the nation's worst frauds ever documented? Now, why don't you call the sheriff of Centralia? Yes. Because I stayed in the single man shelter when I moved there. Pooch. I made sure to give all my documentation. I mean, PDFs and PowerPoints and drive links to the Centralia Homeless organization that helps those that need housing. Yeah. Got myself a job, tried to earn some income. Pooch, pooch.